Proverbs chapter 16, the sovereignty of God and the way of wisdom. Proverbs chapter 16 presents a profound meditation on the tension between human intention and divine sovereignty. It begins by acknowledging the role of human agency, the plans, thoughts, and efforts that originate within a person's heart. Yet even in these, it emphasizes that the final word, the outcome, and even the proper response come from the Lord. While individuals often believe their actions are justified, it is God who discerns the true motivations behind them. This theme, repeated throughout the chapter, reminds readers that human judgment is limited and often biased, whereas God sees with perfect clarity. A major emphasis in this chapter is the call to commit one's actions to the Lord. When people trust God with their work and motives, He aligns their thoughts and brings stability to their intentions. This is a call not only to faith but to surrender, trusting that God's guidance ultimately leads to the right path. The proverb that states, "A man's heart plans his way, but the Lord directs his steps," highlights this balance between planning and divine direction. Even the wicked, the chapter claims, serve a purpose within God's larger design, though it is a sobering thought that their destiny is judgment. Pride is another recurring theme in Proverbs 16. The text warns that a proud heart is detestable to God and inevitably leads to downfall. This is captured in one of the Bible's most well-known verses, "Pride goes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall." Rather than elevating oneself, it is better to walk humbly, even among the lowly, than to share in the spoils of the arrogant. Humility, coupled with righteousness, is of far greater worth than any worldly gain attained unjustly. This is further reinforced with the claim that wisdom and understanding are better than gold or silver, placing moral and spiritual riches above material wealth. The chapter also speaks to those in leadership, particularly kings and rulers, emphasizing that their authority must be rooted in justice and righteousness. A ruler's words carry weight, and their decisions impact many lives, thus, their judgment should reflect God's values. Rulers are exhorted to love truth and detest wickedness, for a throne is not secured by power alone but by moral integrity. Just leadership brings peace and life, and a wise person knows how to respond to authority with discretion and insight. Speech, a central theme in the book of Proverbs, receives particular attention here. Words are described as powerful tools, capable of healing or harming. Wise and gracious speech enhances learning and builds up others, while deceitful or harmful words cause division, stir strife, and lead others into destruction. The imagery used, such as pleasant words being like honeycomb, sweet to the soul and healing to the bones, underscores the life-giving power of good communication. In contrast, the words of the wicked are like a burning fire, spreading damage and conflict. The chapter also delves into the nature of true strength. It challenges the conventional idea that might and conquest define greatness, proposing instead that self-control, patience, and a calm spirit are more admirable. To rule over one's own emotions and reactions is better than taking a city by force. In this light, internal mastery is more honorable than external success. Proverbs 16 concludes with a reminder that even seemingly random outcomes are under God's control. The lot is cast into the lap, but its every decision is from the Lord. What may appear as chance is ultimately governed by divine will. This closing verse brings the reader back to the central message of the chapter: while humans plan, act, and speak, it is God who governs the outcomes. The call, then, is to live wisely, with humility, integrity, trust in God, and careful, gracious speech, knowing that the Lord weighs all things and directs the path of those who fear Him.
Chapter 16. The preparations of the heart belong to man, but the answer of the tongue is from the Lord. All the ways of a man are pure in his own eyes, but the Lord weighs the spirits. Commit your works to the Lord, and your thoughts will be established. The Lord has made all for himself, yes, even the wicked for the day of doom. Everyone proud in heart is an abomination to the Lord. Though they join forces, none will go unpunished. In mercy and truth, atonement is provided for iniquity, and by the fear of the Lord one departs from evil. When a man's ways please the Lord, he makes even his enemies to be at peace with him. Better is a little with righteousness than vast revenues without justice. A man's heart plans his way, but the Lord directs his steps. Divination is on the lips of the king, his mouth must not transgress in judgment. Honest weights and scales are the Lord's, all the weights in the bag are his work. It is an abomination for kings to commit wickedness, for a throne is established by righteousness. Righteous lips are the delight of kings, and they love him who speaks what is right. As messengers of death is the king's wrath, but a wise man will appease it. In the light of the king's face is life, and his favor is like a cloud of the latter rain. How much better to get wisdom than gold, and to get understanding is to be chosen rather than silver. The highway of the upright is to depart from evil. He who keeps his way preserves his soul. Pride goes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. Better to be of a humble spirit with the lowly, than to divide the spoil with the proud. He who heeds the word wisely will find good, and whoever trusts in the Lord, happy is he. The wise in heart will be called prudent, and sweetness of the lips increases learning. Understanding is a wellspring of life to him who has it. But the correction of fools is folly. The heart of the wise teaches his mouth, and adds learning to his lips. Pleasant words are like a honeycomb, sweetness to the soul and health to the bones. There is a way that seems right to a man, but its end is the way of death. The person who labors for himself, for his hungry mouth drives him on. An ungodly man digs up evil, and it is on his lips like a burning fire. A perverse man sows strife, and a whisperer separates the best of friends. A violent man entices his neighbor and leads him in a way that is not good. He winks his eye to devise perverse things. He purses his lips and brings about evil. The silver-haired head is a crown of glory, if it is found in the way of righteousness. He who is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he who rules his spirit than he who takes a city. The lot is cast into the lap, but its every decision is from the Lord.